Hello, everyone, and welcome you all to another chapter of the Advanced CapCut tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 14, where I'll be showing you guys about the crawling text animation in CapCut. So how you are going to apply that crawling text animation inside CapCut. We're gonna learn about that particular thing right over here into this particular chapter. So let's not waste much time and let's get started. So over here, as you guys can see now, this is the interface in which I'm going to work on. And let's first rename this, okay? So let's name this one as crawling text. Okay. So let's name this one as crawling text. And now you can also import your videos. So I'll just click on import videos and I can just choose the type of video I want to take. Okay. So let's take this particular video. Let's open it up right over here. And as you guys can see, the duration of the video is somewhat around 9 seconds and 33 frames. Okay, so once I've imported this one, you guys can see it in the preview panel as well. I do want to take the whole clip inside my timeline. So for that, let's drag and drop it. Shift and Z to fit it here in the timeline. And now the next thing what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the stock materials, and over here now I am going to type B and W, and let's click on enter. And here you guys can see I do have all of these options. So if you do want to filter it as well, you guys can also filter it accordingly. Okay, like uh, I only want photos, let's say, or let's say no limit. Okay, you guys can basically find all of this right over here. Okay, as you guys can see, that is how it's going to look like. Okay, so you guys can actually choose all these things. Okay, so let's select this one. You guys can see this is also kind of the same. Otherwise, if you want to take any kind of image, or let's go with a background. Okay, so let's just click on the background key. Okay, so this is how it is going to look like. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here and I'm gonna place it right over here on top. Okay, but instead now what I'll do is I will turn off the uniform scaling and I can basically crop it as well. Okay, so I will just change the height. Okay, let's say I will just keep the height somewhat 15, and what I can do is I can just place it underneath right over here. Okay, so let's place it. And if you do want to decrease the width, let's say 100% looks quite good. Okay, so I'll just come here. Let's select this particular part. And as this is being applied, or if you do want to put it right over here on top, like you want to put your text on top, you guys can also do that. Okay, so here you guys can see now this looks a bit better. Okay, so I will just keep this one over here on top. And once you are done with this particular part, let's go to text panel over here. And from text panel, let's take a default text box. So I'll just click on default text. Let's increase the size. Okay, So I will just increase the size eventually. And now I already do have the text which I want to copy. Let's go to my notepad. I will just select all of this, Control C to copy, and Control V to paste. Okay, so I will just decrease the size of the text. Okay, so let me just go with 5, or let's go with 7. Let's check this one. Okay, so this one kind of looks good. And now what I'm going to do is I am basically going to check out the starting. And now I am going to put this one over here in one side. Okay, so let me just place this one right over here. And once this particular font is right over here, now I am going to add some keyframes. Okay, so I will just put out a keyframe right over here. And if I do want to move out the x-axis, okay, or you want to move on, let's say, uh, let's come here, let's select this one, and at start, okay, let's come over here. At start, I am going to put my text box somewhere here, and I am going to put one keyframe over here. And once you just move till last, what I'm gonna do is let's come here, and I am just going to move this particular text towards the left. Okay, so let's come here, and I just want to put it on the extreme left. And if you do want to do it on the other sides as well, you guys can actually do it in other sites. Okay, so I will just take my time. You guys can just take your own time for doing so. So let's come here. So let's roll it out. So just do it slowly. We will also see the preview of how it's actually going to work. Okay, so let's come here, and individually, let me just move this one over here. And let me just play this thing up so you guys can see it, how it actually moves a lot faster. Okay, so if you do want to decrease the timing, or like you want to slow it down, you guys can also slow it down as well. Or instead, what you guys can do is maybe take a bit of your text and maybe just delete some part of it. Now let's play this thing up, and you guys can see of how it actually looks. And maybe let's come here, let's place it up, and this one kind of looks good as well. And let's come here, let's increase it. let's move out the keyframes, and you guys can see this is how it is going to end. Okay, so now let's come right over here. If you want to decrease the speed, you guys can come here and you guys can eventually decrease the speed of the text as well. Okay, so if you want to put out different colors also, you guys can come here and you guys can select the type of font. You guys can select the color of the text. If you want any scaling options, you do have the scaling options as well. Okay, and also now let's come here. Let's just delete this old text. Let's add up a new text box and let's come here, increase the spacing. Let's keep this text box, and I will just take out the text. Where's my notebook? And instead of this everything, Control C and Control V. Let's decrease the font size. And now let's select the type of font. Okay, so let me just take this type of font. Let me just place it right over here. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come here, maybe cover up the whole thing. Let's take it to the extreme left, and you can add keyframes accordingly. Okay, so I'll just come here. Let's go to position option. Let's put out a keyframe, and now I will just select this thing again, and I will just select this box, and eventually I will just move this thing all along. Okay, so you guys can come here and maybe at the starting. Okay, so let's come here. Let's add out this keyframe. Let's delete this one, and let's place this keyframe over here. Let's go to the position option. So one keyframe right over here and the other one at back. Okay, so let's come here and let's just drag it. Okay, so I will just eventually drag it on the other side. Let's come here, let's just drag this thing down, and maybe I need to make sure that I do keep the alignment properly. Okay, so yeah, and now let's see how it actually looks. And you guys can see now this is more visible than the one which we were looking before. And that's how you guys can create a crawling text effect inside inside CapCut. So now if you do want to move it up a bit, you guys can actually move it out a bit as well. Okay, if you do want to position it at last, let's come here and you can just position it at last as well. So you guys can see on top, I do have my text, and underneath I do have the video, and the alignment is nice and well as well. So all these things I just did it with the keyframe in the position option. Okay, so you guys can see I do have mentioned these particular things right over here. And once this is done, you guys can just come here and basically export this particular file as well. Let's click on export, and you guys can see the name is scrolling text. Let's export this to the resource file. Let's select the folder, and before that, let's come here and let's add an audio, which I really forgot. So let's come here, let's take this particular audio. B to get the split, and I'll just put out a split. Let's click on A for the selection tool back again, Shift and Z to zoom to fit over here in the timeline. Export, and this is the folder I want to choose. And now I can just click on export, and this particular video will get exported. So I hope to see you all in the next chapter where we're gonna learn more about CapCut and its usage for advanced features.